So you want to build a powerful AI chatbot for your business, right? But it can feel, I don't know, a little overwhelming. What if I told you there was a smarter way to do it? Today, we're going to break down a real-world case study that shows exactly how to build a bot that's not just smart, but also safe, on-brand, and actually effective, right from day one.
All right, so the directive comes down from on high. You need an AI chatbot. It's got to be helpful, it's got to be smart, and it definitely can't be a PR nightmare. Okay, but where do you actually start? That's the question that trips up so many teams right out of the gate.
And here is the big surprise, and honestly, maybe the most important part of this whole explainer. The answer is not to go scrambling for a giant pile of training data. That is the single biggest myth out there, and avoiding that trap is the secret to the entire strategy we're about to dive into. To make this all feel real, we're going to follow the journey of a pretty typical company, a mid-sized e-commerce business. They need a customer support chatbot, and they need it to be good. The catch? They are starting from absolute zero. They have no existing AI training data whatsoever, a classic and super common problem.
And their goals? Well, they're probably going to sound pretty familiar to you. They need to answer the easy questions, automate the simple stuff. They need to sound like their brand. They want to take some pressure off their human support agents. And this is the big one, it has to be safe and accurate. Oh, and eventually, it's got to plug into their life systems.
So, how in the world do they solve this without any data? Well, they start with one brilliant core principle. They decided to separate what the AI knows from how the AI behaves. That single decision, right there, is the foundation that makes everything else work. And here's what that looks like in practice. On one side, you have knowledge. These are the facts, the company policies, the product details. You handle this with a technology called RAG. On the other side, you have behavior. This is the tone of voice, the personality, the style of the conversation. And you teach that later with something called fine-tuning. Getting this separation right, that's the secret sauce. So what exactly is this RAG thing? The best way to think about it is like giving your AI an open book exam. See, instead of forcing it to memorize the entire library, you just give it permission to look up the right answer from a pile of approved company documents. And this is a total game changer because it stops the AI from just making stuff up. It keeps it grounded in reality.
And you want to know the best part? Setting this up is surprisingly straightforward. You literally just upload your existing documents, your FAQs, your help articles, your policy PDFs, whatever you've got. An indexing service then chops it all up and makes it searchable. And just like that, your AI has its open book, and it can start answering questions based on your company's actual truth, all without a single piece of initial training data.
Okay, knowledge base is in place. Time to launch, right? Well, yes and no. This first launch isn't the final product. The whole strategy is to start simple, start safe, and use this first version for a very, very specific purpose. This is such a genius move. The very first version is a read-only bot. It can look up information from that knowledge base and answer questions, but it has zero ability to change anything. It can't update an order, it can't modify an account, it can't process a refund. This is brilliant because it's super low risk, you get feedback from real users almost immediately, and most importantly, it turns your chatbot into a data factory.
I mean, just think about what's happening. Every single time someone talks to the bot, it's logging everything. What the user asked, what chunk of knowledge it found to answer them, the exact response it gave, and whether the conversation was resolved or had to be escalated to a human. Remember that problem we had at the start? We have no training data? Well, it's solving itself. You are now organically creating the perfect, high-quality data set from real-world conversations.
Okay, so now we have real conversation data, and our bot is factually correct thanks to RAG. But is it behaving correctly? Is it helpful? This is where fine-tuning comes in. And it's not about knowledge anymore. It's all about performance, personality, and, well, behavior.
So you might be thinking, hang on, if RAG is handling all the facts so well, why do we even need this fine-tuning thing? When does it actually become necessary?
You pull out fine-tuning when you've got behavioral problems. Maybe the tone is just a little off-brand. Or maybe it's not asking the right follow-up questions, like asking for an order number. Or maybe the way it formats its answers is just messy and hard to read. You see, these are all problems with how the AI is talking, not what it knows. Let's go back to our analogy. If RAG was the open book exam, think of fine-tuning as sending your AI to etiquette class. It's not there to learn new facts about history or science. It's there to learn its manners. It learns how to speak with your brand's voice, how to follow conversational rules, and how to just act politely and effectively. Okay, this slide right here, this is the whole thing. This is the key. Let's put it side by side. RAG is for knowledge.
Its purpose is to know things, and you feed it your company documents. It's the open book exam. Fine-tuning is for behavior. Its purpose is to act a certain way, and you feed it those example conversations we logged. It's the etiquette class. If you understand this one distinction, you understand how to build enterprise AI the smart way.
And that training data we generated, what does it actually look like? Is it some scary, complex thing? Nope, not at all. It's basically just a simple conversation script. You've got a system message telling the bot its job, then you have what the user said, and then you have the perfect response you want the assistant to give. That's it. It's just a script for good behavior.
And the actual process of fine-tuning is also really structured. You upload that file with all your little conversation scripts, you kick off the job, the system goes to work learning the patterns of good behavior from your examples, and then, poof, it spits out a new, better-behaved model. Deploying it is as easy as just changing the model's name in your app.
Okay, so we have our knowledge engine, and we have our behavior engine. Let's put the whole puzzle together and see what this final, complete, enterprise-grade system actually looks like.
What you end with is this really elegant, layered defense system. At its core, the fine-tuned model is controlling the behavior and the tone. The RAG system is feeding it grounded, factual knowledge. And then, as a final guardrail, you have a content safety service that checks every single input and output to make sure it's safe and compliant. Each layer has one job, and it does it really well.
So let's just quickly recap the big takeaways. Number 1, always start with RAG. Start with knowledge. Number 2, let your first launch be a data factory. Generate your own high-quality data. Number 3, remember, fine-tuning is for behavior, not for knowledge. And finally, building a layered system is building a safe system. And when you do all this, you end up with way more control and power than you could ever get from some off-the-shelf chatbot. And that really brings us to the last question, the one you should be asking about your own AI projects. It's not enough for an AI to just be smart and know a bunch of stuff. The real goal, the only goal, is to build an AI that is genuinely, consistently, and safely helpful. And to do that, you have to think just as much about how it behaves as you do about what it knows.